Kids don't forget.
Kids don't forget.
You kids don't forget.
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 Kids don't forget. Kids don't forget.
Zandy, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
We're very excited that you're here. Thank you for stopping through.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so I called you by your nickname, but your name is actually Alexandra.
Correct.
That's the correct pronunciation.
That is the correct.
Has it ever been mispronounced?
Like all the time. I don't know how you can mispronounce Alexandra.
Right.
But it's been Alexandria. I've gotten Alexander. I've gotten Alexandra. Everything but Alexandra. People have called me Alexis, Alexia, Alexa. Just not Alexandra.
Spell it.
Alexandra.
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 And for some reason, that has gotten roasted.
I don't even know how you do that. Like, why are you adding letters? Just read what's on the paper. Just read it.
Right.
Like, I've gotten email correspondence that was like, Mr. Carpenter. In my signature line on every email every job I've ever worked at, Alexandra.
Right.
It's a woman. I'm a woman.
Clearly. But I will say, you don't want to assume, because I once had a boss who was a female whose name was Douglas.
Wow.
And when I first, like the first interview, the person who was pre-interviewing me for Douglas, she was like, yeah, Douglas can't wait to talk to you. And I was like, I can't wait to meet him. And she said, Douglas is a girl. And I was like, what?
I mean, I've met a woman named Darnell. I know women named Ryan.
Right.
I mean, you're right. It's not ever safe to assume. But
Alexandra.
when there's an Alexander,
Right.
So if there's dra, then I think it's a pretty safe assumption to make that Alexandra is a girl.
Now, did you have a bunch of nicknames growing up?
Generally Zandy.
Zandy.
And then like people from school call me Alex, so you can always tell like what phase of life people know me in. Like,
Okay.
are you my friend from school or from growing up? You call me Alex. Are you my friend from like outside of school, personal, growing up to now is Zandy.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
like if I like you like that, you can call me Zandy. Or just not. Just
So wait, does anybody call you Alexandra other than somebody who calls you on the phone?
no, my sister.
Your sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when she's like mothering me.
She's like, Alexandra, we need to talk.
Like I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Parkside.
Parkside is where?
In Camden.
Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? How would you describe the neighborhood? Well, first of all, do you claim a specific block?
Well, I grew up on the 1200 block of Kenwood, and my grandmother lives still currently on the 1300 block of Kane. So like standing, if I came down the front step at my house,
Right.
I could see my grandmother's front porch. So
Okay.
I'm kind of,
Got it.
Like,
So your grandma lived right across the street from you?
yeah, like pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your neighborhood growing up?
So we moved out of that house when I was young.
Okay.
But I don't ever remember there being any like nonsense, no whatever. Like we played in the street. We was like barefoot racing down the street. It was pretty good. It was like tons of kids.
Okay.
It was pretty good. Like I loved it. I was very upset when it was time to leave. Like I asked my mom, could I just go live with my grandma? Because I didn't want to leave my friends.
Okay.
It's like, can I just go live with Mama? I don't want to go. I don't want to go to a new house. I just want to stay where I'm at. It was really bad. I did not want to go.
So growing up in Camden, no drama at all?
No, not until like I got older. I went to Forest Hill Elementary School, so that was from like 2nd grade to 6th grade. So walking home, I could tell the difference. Like over time, I could tell that the neighborhood was changing and things was getting to be a little different than I had remembered them from being like young. But it was never really any like mayhem, like no shootouts, no bunch of fighting, none of that.
Okay.
Maybe a little ruckus at night.
Right.
But not while the kids was outside.
Okay. So you mentioned your sister already, which means you're not an only child.
I am not.
Are you the oldest? Well, clearly not the oldest.
No.
Are you the middle or the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I have a brother in
Okay.
the middle.
You have a brother in the middle. So it's three of you guys.
It's three of us.
Okay. So what is the age gap between you and your oldest?
7 years.
7 years. And your brother's how much older than you?
5.
5. Okay.
So I'm like the baby, by a mile.
Right. What was that like for you growing up in that house?
Fun, because they would spoil me rotten. Yeah. So
always got your
I
way.
didn't really always get my way. I think that might be a lie.
I was thinking that, like,
I think
she's
that
lying.
might be a lie. That might be a lie. I really got away with a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have got away with. And
Right.
I remember very vividly one time I had to be like 4 or 5. I was like wailing on my sister. I don't even know for what. She probably was like trying to help me get dressed or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I was tearing her up. And my sister was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not helping her. And my mom was like, go in here and help your sister. She's just having a tantrum. Just, she'll be all right. It's your job to help her. I mean, spoiled rotten. To this day, 36 years
It's
old.
hard to think of a youngest who wasn't spoiled and didn't always get their way. If you was to say that you didn't always get your way, I would be like, I want to meet
didn't
your
always
parents.
get my way.
But like 90% of the time.
Yeah. And I came here very early, very sick, very worried about. And so as I was like growing up, it was like, she's not even supposed to be here. We're just going to let her be great. Yeah, no, I don't know if that was the best decision to make. Because I was like, the baby. Like, I took that thing and ran with it.
Now, did you grow up with both parents?
No. So, I don't want to say no, but no.
Not in the same house.
Right. My dad and my mom split up when I was 3.
Okay.
So my dad was around, but he wasn't always like around.
Can you remember a point in your life where you lived with both parents?
I can't.
Okay.
I know that I did because I know how old I was when he left,
Right.
but I can't remember. Like, I don't have any memories of like my mom and dad together, like in the house.
Now that you're a grown woman, you said 36.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, do you think that maybe affected you, that your dad wasn't physically in the house with you?
There's no maybe.
Okay.
Absolutely, it absolutely did.
Absolutely. How so?
So, for me, like growing up, I saw most of my friends, like there were not a lot of my friends that did not have both parents. And so, like, it just was like, oh, my mom and my dad, or we're going here, or we're going there. I didn't use the pronoun we're in reference to my parents. It was like my mom, the we're was my mom and my brother and my sister.
Okay.
Or like my mom and my aunts and my cousins. It didn't really, like, there was no like the daddy we're. And so like there's a lot of pictures from like childhood with my brother and my sister and my dad, but not very many with me included, because I was so small when he left.
Right.
And so it's like I grow up and it's like conversations that a girl would have with her dad I didn't have with mine.
Okay.
Questions that I would ask my mom but really like needed to ask my dad, I didn't ask them. And because I was resentful that he left, like I always felt like it was my fault. Like, why did you wait till I got here to decide that you wanted to leave? And I never asked him that question until I was like 18.
So all three of you had the same dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
My parents were married.
Okay.
And like I was just always very resentful because he left.
Right.
And I was just like, whatever. I'll figure it out by myself. And it landed me in a lot of situations where I probably wouldn't have been in if I would have just like asked my dad or talked to my dad or got his opinion, specifically with like boyfriends and stuff like that. But I didn't even ask my brother because I felt like my brother was close to my dad and I was mad at him for being close to him and not being mad at him like I was mad. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So with that being said, how would you describe, at this point, how would you describe your relationship with both parents? Let's start with your dad. How would you describe or did you just describe your relationship with him?
Well, no, so now it's great. I mean, even like as a kid, he was around, like he didn't miss much. He was at every dance recital, he was at every band concert, he was at every cheer competition. Like he was around, but he just wasn't in the house. And I felt like it was a period of time where like he was never there unless it was like something for him to brag about.
Right.
Like I'm not your opportunity. Like I'm your kid. You're gonna like stop. Told my mom one time, like stop telling him what stuff is. Cause if he can't come over here when I don't feel good, then he don't need to come over here on Christmas either. Like stop that. But obviously I'm the child and not the parent, and she did what she felt was best for her kids. But so now that I'm older, even as I turned like 18, I felt it at 16, like I wanted to talk to him, and my mom was like, no, you're not, because I know you, and you're not going to talk to your father like that. Like, you want to talk to him at 18, you're an adult, I can't tell you what to say, but at 16 I can tell you what you will and won't say, and you won't have that conversation as long as I'm making the decisions for you. So when I was 18, me and my dad had a real good talk, and today we are super tight.
Okay.
Super duper tight.
Okay. What was your relationship like with your mother? Well, what's your dad's name, by the way?
Larry. William Larry Carpenter.
Shout out to, wait, so what would I call him? Mr. what?
Mr. Larry.
Oh, okay, shout out to Mr. Larry. Okay, now moving on to your mom, what's her name?
Her name was Doris Carpenter.
Was Doris.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Miss Doris. Let's talk about what was your relationship with your mom?
So my relationship with my mom
And condolences, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
My relationship with my mom was always very good. Always.
Okay.
You know, you get to be a teenager, you start doing stuff, you start smelling yourself, you start trying to assert your I'm a grown up because I'm doing grown up things, and then your mom got to check you real fast. So there was always like the rough teenage patch, because there was a period of time where I was just completely out of hand. But she was my mom, and she was also my friend, right? So
Okay.
there hasn't been, I think I told you this before too, like there's never been a time where I wasn't with my mom, except the 2 years that I lived in DC when I went away for school. So
Okay. Where'd you go, by the way?
I went to Howard.
You went to Howard for 2 years.
Howard for 2
okay.
years.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So because I'm 5 years behind my brother,
Mm-hmm.
when him and my sister, who are 2 years apart, were away at school, it was always just me and my mom.
Okay.
So, like the two, and my sister said it to this day. She's like, you got a side of mommy that I didn't get. Like she says all the time, I didn't know that mommy had a sense of humor until I came home from college. Well, when my sister came home from college, it was 2000. I was 15, and I had been in the house with my mom for 5 years.
Right.
Already.
Well, you know what's crazy? There's 3 of you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and all 3 of you may have experienced 3 different parents.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Right. You can grow up in the same house with somebody and have a completely different childhood.
That's exactly right. And I know for a fact that myself and my sister experienced a different mother.
Right.
Because
And she was a different person.
we are 2 very different people.
Right.
And so the
right.
kind of mother that my sister needed was not the same. But my sister was never out of hand.
Okay.
I don't think my mom ever got a call like, your daughter is up here and you need to come and get her.
That you know of.
Yeah, that I know of.
That you know
That I
of.
know of.
Right.
Yeah, I can't recall that. Like, at all.
Right.
Like, ever. Me, on the other hand. Oh, there was tons of those calls. They didn't come till high school, but they did come.
Right.
They
And
did.
by then, your brother and sister were out the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you ultimately become a parent?
I did become a parent.
How many beautiful seeds do you have?
I have one son.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 10.
Okay. You know how your mom raised you because you were there. You know how your dad raised you, or lack of thereof, because you were there. What would you say are some similarities and differences between your parents' parenting styles and yours?
Interesting, because, like I told you, I never lived anywhere but with my mom. So for the 10 years that my son has been living until January when my mom passed, she's been integral in my parenting. So
your mother just passed away in January of this year.
yeah, January 2021.
Okay.
So I find that I'm a lot like my mom, but I'm also very different from my mom.
How so?
So my mom was very authoritative. Not like it's my way or the highway. It's like, these are the rules and you're expected to follow them. But these are the rules, you're expected to follow them, but I will hear your perspective. You're still going to do what I told you to do.
right.
But I will listen to why you think that that's unfair.
Because some parents don't want to hear it
No,
at all. It's
no.
like, do what I say.
My father is, I said it. Period.
Right.
That's it.
Quick tangent. Do you have so the question is going to be, my mom had a rule for me growing up. I could not leave my room unless my bed was made.
Oh, no, that's topic.
Who cares? I think my mom was the only person who cared.
No, I don't.
No, so did you have a rule growing up that you hated? Like even now you look back, like what was the point?
So I was in the summer band program.
Right.
Which ultimately led to me being in all city program.
Okay.
So all year long I was doing something. All city was through the school year on Saturdays from like 8:30 to 12:30, and then summer band was all summer. Well, all summer, every day from 8 to 12:30.
What did you play?
I played the saxophone, the
What
clarinet,
saxophone?
alto.
What? Alto. Okay.
I started with the clarinet though, and
Right.
then I eased into the alto sax, and then I reverted back to the clarinet, but to the bass clarinet, which was by far my most favorite instrument to play.
So you were always a woodwind.
Always.
Okay.
I tried to get into the piano because like my mom wanted that. She wanted all of us to play. My brother plays. My sister plays.
Right. Your brother's a drummer.
My brother's a drummer. My brother plays the bass. My brother plays the keys.
And your sister's a flutist.
My sister plays the flute. My sister plays the bassoon. My sister plays the keys.
Okay. So musical family.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find it's not hard to transition between woodwinds. So were you able to easily transition between the clarinet and the alto sax?
I think the easier transition was, yes, it wasn't difficult. But
Right.
I think it was easier to go from the saxophone to the bass clarinet because of the size of the instrument.
Okay.
And the fingerings on the bass clarinet and the regular clarinet are the same. So yes, the transition was easy.
All right. So you were in summer band at All City.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the rule that you didn't like?
That in order for me to go to All City, it was always All City because All City was on Saturday.
Facts.
In order for me to get there, I had to have completed a suggested list of chores.
A suggested list?
I don't really like housework ain't my jam. My house ain't dirty, right? My house is clean.
Right.
But when I'm a kid, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to make the bed. I don't want to clean the bathroom either. I don't want to take out the trash. I want to put on this bodysuit and go to dance. Like, that's what I want to do. Well, if you want to do that, you're going to have to do these chores. Because you're not leaving my house going to do anything until your chores are done.
Yeah.
Period. Including making the bed.
Right.
Why
right.
am I making this bed when all I'm going to do is undo the sheets to get in it?
I never
This is so
really
dumb.
understood the point.
What is the point? Like, I know people.
That's probably a raging debate from housewives, or just moms, period,
I
and
can't
kids.
understand it. My grandmom is 96 years old.
Right.
And she will not get in her bed if she didn't make it.
Well, you're going to unmake it
Mama,
immediately.
What you doing? And she, like, to this day, like, right now, if I went to her house, and she, she's old, so sometimes she don't have the energy to make it up when she gets up. So she goes downstairs, she does whatever she's doing for the day. If I go upstairs in her house, she'll say, "Don't go in my room is a mess." I'll go up and like peek. The bed is unmade. That's it.
That's it.
You probably could eat off my grandma's floor. The bed is unmade. That's it. The room's a mess because the bed is unmade. Why are we making the bed? Do you understand this?
I feel your pain.
What is the point?
I feel your pain.
What is the point of made that bed?
It's only if you're trying to show off for somebody, like, or you're taking a picture. Like if you got company, yeah, exactly.
Nobody goes in my room.
Like on a normal Wednesday, who cares if I make up my bed or not?
Nobody's going in my room.
My dad never said anything about my bed being made. That I can give him that. It was my mom's rule. You cannot leave your room. Like I just knew to make up my bed, but like
I asked my mom one time, like, why do I have to make a bed? People are not even allowed upstairs in our house.
exactly.
If we have company come over, we're not going upstairs.
Right.
What is happening?
It's a mom thing.
So dumb. It's not this mom, not me. That is not a thing.
So are you an authoritative mom?
I'm an authoritative mom. There are rules. My thing to my son, my aunt, shout out Aunt Murdis, told me when I was a child that all choices